What's up everyone, this is Sonic Fan here, and welcome to today's video. Guys, we are eating today, okay? We got a new Tales Tube, which was just really awesome. We got the whole crew there. They were talking and giving some insight for, more younger audiences about who Ray and Mighty are. They're bridging the connection between the modern and classic timeline, which is something I thought they never do, which is really sick. And it's even teased that for Frontier's 1-year anniversary, which is coming up next month, they'll feature Sage. So we're gonna have Sage actually being a part of the main cast of characters, and she's going to be appearing in media outside of Frontiers. So that was already hype already. But then the Sonic Channel also decided to just drop a bomb out of nowhere, and we got a 7-minute interview where Naoto Oshima and Takashi Iizuka basically just answered all of our dying questions that we just have to know about Sonic Superstars. And I'm basically just going to run down everything they said and just give my own personal opinion about what new stuff we got in this interview. We didn't get anything major, like any crazy features about the game or any gigantic game modes or playable characters that weren't revealed yet. This interview that was conducted was more so to basically just get their thought process behind designing the game, which I find equally as fascinating. So without further ado, let's talk about it, okay? So the first question that they're asked here is, where did you and the team get the idea for Sonic Superstars? Basically saying, hey, yo, why even make this game? What was the thought process behind it? And this is basically, they decided to open up the most fascinating answer out of the entire video, which is huge news and gives us a big insight for the future of the series going forward, where they basically say that just like Frontiers, Sonic Superstars is going to be a foundation for classic Sonic going forward, setting up all the subsequent games we're going to be getting in the next 10 to 20 years. That's pretty wild. So yeah, out of all the things I thought Superstars was basically, taking everything that worked about Mania and just riding off that train, appeasing classic fans. Just something to hold us over while, we wait for the next modern games. But no, this title actually has way more significance to the overall franchise, where this is going to be a new starting point for classic Sonic. They're going all in with the classic brand, and I already know a lot of people are not going to be happy with this. There was that discussion a few months ago about whether or not classic Sonic should die and they should just focus on modern Sonic, how he's holding him back. This is, to me, the stupidest debate ever. Like, any other fandom, no one would mind this, but because it's the Sonic fandom, we gotta argue over trivial bullshit like this. Guys, this is literally perfect. We are getting the best of both worlds. For all of us modern fans, I'm primarily a modern fan, we got games like Frontiers coming out every 5 years. We got these big major releases. And then for all the classic fans, they have their games that are also coming out alongside those too. And if you're a fan of both sides of Sonic, like me, you're getting a big, crazy title every 4 to 5 years, while also having these classic games to hold you over, which are also really fun in their own right. This is literally the best route they could possibly go. Like, classic fans and modern fans are both eating. I don't get why we still have to argue over which one is better or which one should drive the franchise. Guys, we're getting both. Why can't we let two legends coexist? We got both gameplay styles. We got both type of vibes from both eras. Everything's fine. Everything is perfect. So yes, this was actually the most fascinating answer they could have given. Really happy with it. So another question is, will this game be accessible to new players who have never played a Sonic game before? And they basically answer, yeah, there's going to be in-depth tutorials just for each character. So if you've never ever touched a Sonic game before, you don't know what Amy does, you don't know who Knuckles is, you don't know really how to control, you don't have a grasp on how to play, there'll be tutorials there to walk you through it, which I think is always a good thing, okay? Despite Sonic games for the most part being really piss easy, there is a slight learning curve. Trust me, I would know. I've tried to get my friends into this series, and I've watched them play games like Mania and Forces, and things didn't click right away, okay? Sonic is the playstyle of Sonic is pretty niche despite how mainstream the franchise is. So the fact that there'll be tutorials for players who are going to be coming to this new, because just again, they've recontextualized everything with this game being the new foundation for classic Sonic going forward. This is going to be a new starting point in the series to further draw in more wider audiences. So being more player friendly is basically a must for what this game is trying to go for, basically. But what really matters is us, because we are selfish. So how are the hardcore players going to experience this game? Well, that's the next question. Basically, how would the game handle difficulty for more experienced players? and they basically just say experienced players are goated, and they're going to cheese through this game. That's not actually what they say, but they basically say, you know, we really want to make this game play exactly like the classic Sonics. We're talking Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic Mania. We're going to replicate the physics to a T, so people who are very familiar with those games are going to be right at home here. So, yeah, no, just... this is something we already knew, that the physics of this game plays almost near identical to that of the classic era, which is really refreshing. You know, classic Sonic played well in Generations, but that was far from an exact recreation, and we don't even need to talk about how he was implemented into forces and how awful he controlled there. And then we also have Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2. So, you know, classic Sonic, well, technically those were modern Sonic games, but it was trying to replicate the classic style. So classic Sonic hasn't really always been translated really well, but here that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. We're going to get a accurate, we're actually going to, classic Sonic's going to control a classic Sonic is basically what's going to happen, and that's going to be really cool. So for all of us familiar fans, everything's going to be the exact same, and we'll basically just be able to jump right into it, which is always a plus. So the next question we're going to get into is what design philosophies from the classic Sonic the Hedgehog titles were more important to the team when creating Sonic Superstars? And Naoto Oshima basically just says their main objective here was to prioritize action, speed-based gameplay, which I'm very much looking forward to. I love Sonic Frontiers. It's probably my favorite game ever made, like at this point. I know I've said that a million times, but I'm still blown away at just how much I love that game. With that said, it doesn't scratch that niche that most people want to go into a Sonic game for. Most people go into a Sonic game want to get that huge adrenaline, want to get that, you know, like high-speed action. And even though you do have that in the cyberspace levels, they control pretty wonky, they're not really the best. And you play them pretty sparsely throughout the game, where you spend most of your time in the open zone, which, you know, prioritizes combat and platforming as opposed to, like, you know, high adrenaline rushing speed. So, you know, to have a Sonic game that's gonna, you know, basically just be what a Sonic game is designed for typically, that's gonna be really cool. I can't wait to see it. Again, I'm not dissing Frontiers. I love the direction that game went in, but, you know, for Sonic fans, or, you know, just casual players who just want to play a Sonic game, just going, you know, at the speed of sound, like zigzagging, do all these cool platforms and loop-de-loops. Frontiers isn't that type of game, so, you know, the fact that we're going to have Superstars filling that role is going to be really awesome. The question after that is, what was the decision behind having Amy as a playable character? When I first saw this, I thought it was going to be pretty simple. Yeah, no, Amy, she's been a part of the classic era, she's a pretty prominent character, why not? But instead, what we basically got as an explanation from Iizuka is fans really like her, and she's a girl, so why not? And some people might, you know, be weirded out by that latter statement. I think what he was basically implying, but was lost due to translation, is the fact that there's a girl in the team is going to be really good to diversify the cast, and that's basically it, just to have a more diverse cast. But, you know, like, the way it's phrased, it sounds like they're just trying to, like, get brownie points by having a girl a part of the team, and, I mean, but I don't think that's what he meant. But I'm actually really disappointed that, like, you know, they treated it as this, oh, well, you know, since, you know, fans really like her, and she can, like, add some flavor to the group, might as well include her. I don't think adding Amy as a playable character should even really be a question at the end of the day. She's a part of the core four. She's like a really big character. She's in everything. She's in the modern games. She's in a lot of the media. She's in Telestube. She's a part of the gang. Like, you know, despite how much I love characters like Shadow the Hedgehog, E123 Omega, Rouge the Bat, basically all of Team Dark, Jet the Hawk, all of those awesome guys, they're not the main four. They're not the main characters when you think of Sonic the Hedgehog. They're not part of the main team-up. Amy is a part of that team-up. So I just think, like, if you're having a game where you're playing as Sonic's friends, Amy should just easily go with that question. It shouldn't even really be... Yeah, but, going to the next question, Superstars brings back classic character Fang. What was the main inspiration behind this reintroduction? I find this answer to give pretty fascinating. So basically, because Ray and Mighty were a huge hit in Mania, and a lot of classic fans were pleased to see them appear once again, they're going to take advantage of that and try to explore more obscure classic characters that have been forgotten to time, with Fang obviously being like one of the most iconic ones that were forgotten about, and, you know, having him reappear in a newer game. And I love this. There are so many cool classic characters that just outside of comics or whatever just have not appeared in any newer entries. So the fact that we're going to be getting more of them, you know, we might get Bean the Dynamite, just any other classic character, we'll be seeing them again, which is really cool. I'm really happy about that. Obviously, I'm more of a modern guy. Like classic Sonic, I can take it or leave it. Most times I take it because it's a Sonic game and it's gonna be awesome. But, you know, I play modern Sonic for the more serious stories, for the more grounded approach. Well, as grounded as you can get from a cartoon hedgehog who can break the sound barrier. But yeah, I basically play modern games because those games appeal to me more. They're more epic, they're more grand scale. But at the same time, it is important to please classic Sonic fans because, I mean, they were here first. And, like, you know, because the fan base is so divided, especially between these two groups, I think everyone deserves to win. So I'm really happy for classic fans that they won, that they're going to be getting, like, all the characters reappearing again, that they're going to be getting games coming out, like, that replicate that style. I love that. We won. Everyone wins, and it's awesome. And this last question is, how has it been teaming up to work together again? Basically, directed more so towards Iizuka and Naoto Oshima and their personal experience. And this is just where the interview just gets super fucking wholesome, you know? Oshima just starts complimenting Iizuka and talking about, like, how much he's learned from him. And then Iizuka just, like, starts tearing up and, like, it's just so wholesome, guys. And like from Iizuka's part, he just praises Oshima. It sounds like these two really respect each other and really love working together and are proud of what they've made. And it's just wonderful to see. I really love it. And then they also end off with a huge thank you to the fandom before the video ends. So yeah, that's basically all the new info and insights we got to the thought process behind Superstar's creation. Some really fascinating stuff here, some really cool stuff. But yeah, that's basically gonna end it here. Real quick, before we wrap up, I just want to give a brief shout out, a brief little mention of my Sonic the Hedgehog audiobook that just premiered on my channel yesterday. Episode 1 just came out. It's a fully cast, fully voice acted audio adaptation of the fan novel that I wrote a little bit ago. It's basically my own personal take on Sonic in this world, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of everything that the crew has given to it. There are some seriously really wonderful, talented people who I've been blessed with partnering with, who have lended their talents to this. Amazing voice talent. Two good friends, Gamebox and King, who you guys may recognize, helping out with the art and soundtrack respectively. They've been wonderful. Everyone's been wonderful, and it's been a wonderful creating this series. And there's a lot more in store. If you want to get caught up on the story, then go check that out. Link in the description. But, yeah. What do you guys think of Superstars? Do you already have your pre-orders secured? You better. You better, because you know I already have mine, and we're going to be playing that game when it comes out. I'm really excited. Anyways, if you guys have enjoyed this video, if you have, then please like, subscribe, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.